Miss Amy, can I ask a question?
We're about to get started.
I'm gonna have to recuse myself on the cheat wood.
Okay. That's fine. Just let us know and you can turn your camera off or mute yourself and we can talk about that.
Okay. We'll call to order this meeting of the Franklin Municipal Planning Commission for March the 25th, 2021. We will start off with roll call attendance. Commissioner Allen, Commissioner Franks, Commissioner Harrison, Commissioner Lindsay's present, Commissioner McLemore, Commissioner Mann,
Present.
Commissioner Orr,
Present.
Alderman Peterson,
Here.
and Commissioner Williamson.
Present.
Okay, item number 1, consideration of resolution 2021-50, a resolution declaring that the Franklin Municipal Planning Commission shall meet on March 25th, 2021 and conduct its essential business by electronic means rather than being required to gather a quorum of the members physically present in the same location because it is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Kelly, is there any public comment tonight?
If there are any callers on the line who would like to speak to this item, please unmute yourself or hit *6. No comment?
No comment. So I need a motion to approve that resolution. If you give me your name and your motion, please.
Commissioner Allen, so moved.
Scott Harrison, second.
So we have a proper motion and second by roll call vote. Commissioner Allen,
Aye.
Commissioner Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Lindsay, aye. Commissioner McLemore,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Orr,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. So I'll read the announcement for limited public access. The Franklin Municipal Planning Commission meeting will limit physical access in the meeting room due to current limitations on public gatherings to prevent further spread of COVID-19 and to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the City of Franklin officials, staff, and citizens. Accommodations have been made to ensure that the public is able to participate in the meeting. The public may participate in the following ways: watch the meeting on Franklin TV or the City of Franklin website. Watch the live stream through the City of Franklin Facebook and YouTube accounts. You can call in to the conference meeting at 1-312-626-6799. The meeting ID is 990-0449-6156. And the password is 476160. Callers will be unmuted and given the opportunity to comment during the meeting at specific times. The public could email comments to planningintake@franklintn.gov to be provided in full to the commission and included in the minutes, but not read aloud in their entirety during the meeting. Emailed comments were accepted until 12 noon on the day before the meeting. Limited viewing will be available in the lobby at City Hall for up to 10 persons but in-person comment in the boardroom will not be available. The next item is the approval of our minutes. Consideration of approval of the February 25th, 2021 Franklin Municipal Planning Commission meeting minutes. So I need a motion
Move for approval, Scott Harrison.
and a second.
Second, Nick Mann.
Okay, Commissioner Mann. By roll call vote, Commissioner Allen,
Aye.
Commissioner Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Chairman Lindsay votes aye, Commissioner McLemore,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Orr,
Aye.
Alderman Peterson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
Motion passes for the approval of the minutes. The next item is for citizen comments on items not on the agenda. This is a time during our meeting when we open for Franklin citizens to be heard on items that are not included on this agenda. As provided by law, the Franklin Municipal Planning Commission shall make no decisions or consideration of action of citizens' comments except to refer the matter to the planning director for administrative consideration or to schedule the matter for Franklin Municipal Planning Commission consideration at a later date. Are there any citizen comments tonight?
Please unmute or hit *6. No comments.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. I believe Kelly has some announcements for us tonight.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The city has launched the design process to envision a new city hall in its current location on the historic public square. The intent is to replace the old one-story city mall building that has served us for the last almost 40 years with a new vibrant city hall that's much more functional and collaborative and contributes to the downtown character of Franklin. We are in the information gathering stage of the process right now, and I wanted to announce a couple upcoming meetings. The first public meeting for the public to attend is May 13th at 6 p.m. We will be having a range of other meetings as well, and they can be found on our website. We also will be coming before the Joint Conceptual Workshop in May. That would be May 27th to obtain Planning Commission and BOMA feedback on and input into the project as well. And you can find more information about it at www.completethesquare.com with hyphens in between the words. So that will serve as a repository of information, and you can find out all of the upcoming public meetings there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. That's an exciting announcement. The next item on the agenda is a vote to place non-agenda items on the agenda. And I think that we're past the deadline for anything relative to that, so there will be no non-agenda items considered for our agenda tonight. Item number 4 is the consent agenda. The items under the consent agenda are deemed by the Planning Commission to be non-controversial and routine in nature and will be approved in one motion. Item number 4 is the consent agenda. The items under the consent agenda are deemed by the... Everybody mute phones, please. So the items on the consent agenda will not be individually discussed. Any member of the Planning Commission, city staff, or the public desiring to discuss an item may request that it be removed or placed on the regular agenda. So the items for consideration on the consent agenda tonight are items number 4, number 12, and number 13. Does anybody wish to remove one of those items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
Alma moves to approve.
Scott Harrison, second.
We have a proper motion and second by roll call vote. Commissioner Allen,
Aye.
Commissioner Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Chairman Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Orr,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is item number 5, consideration of resolution 2021-26, a resolution to adopt an Envision Franklin Plan Amendment for the properties located between Sawyer Road and Linwood Way, known as MAP 036, parcels 04000, 04100, 04200, and 04803 to change the design concept from conservation subdivision to multifamily residential. Do we have a staff presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The staff is requesting a deferral tonight due to missing the 30-day public notice requirement in the newspaper. The staff recommends deferral of resolution 2021-26 to the April 22nd Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
If anyone wishes to speak, please unmute yourself or hit *6. No comment?
That closes public comment on this item. Is there a presentation by applicant?
Hello, this is Greg Gamble, representing the applicant, and we concur with staff in request for deferral to the April Planning Commission meeting.
All right, thank you, Greg. Do we have a motion for that deferral?
Move for deferrals to the April 22nd Planning Commission meeting, 2021.
Michael Orr, second.
Thank you, Mike. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, by roll call vote, Commissioner Allen,
Aye.
Commissioner Franks,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore,
Aye.
Commissioner Mann,
Aye.
Commissioner Orr,
Aye.
Alderman Peterson,
Aye.
and Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. That project is deferred till the April meeting. Item number 6 is a consideration of ordinance 2020-36, an ordinance to rezone 35.36 acres from planned PD district to planned PD 017 14,300 district for the property located south of Spencer Creek Road and north of McHatcher Parkway, located at 285 Spencer Creek Road, project known as the Cheekwood North PUD. The staff presentation.
Yes, thank you. The applicant is requesting to rezone 35.36 acres from Plan District to Plan District 0.17 and 14,300 to accommodate the Cheekwood North PUD subdivision. The proposed entitlements include density allowances for 6 single-family residential lots and 14,300 square feet of utility space for equipment storage for the golf course. Envision Franklin places this parcel into the single-family design concept, which supports both single-family and recreational uses. The property is maintaining its current use as a golf course and adding 6 residential lots. So the proposed zoning with revised entitlements meet the recommendations of Envision Franklin. The corresponding development plan for the Cheekwood North PUD subdivision will also be on tonight's agenda. Staff recommends approval to the board, Mayor and Alderman. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this item?
If anyone wishes to speak, please unmute yourself or hit *6.
Hello.
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah, this
Identify
is
yourself
Raymond
by your
Hicks.
name and address.
My name is Raymond Hicks, and I'm at 104 Broadley Court, right off of Spencer Creek. I live on what is now the 9th green of that golf course. We bought this house back in 1996, and we were told, 95, excuse me. We were told then that part of that is floodplain. A portion of it is floodplain. And wetlands, of which they have destroyed some of the wetlands over the past couple of years while they were here moving toward trying to put this development in. The development would not fit the look of the rest of the subdivision. It can create erosion and cause problems with the wetlands and the floodplain. We're totally opposed to this. We have been opposed to it from the get-go, and you can cause some flooding. Already Spencer Creek by the golf course clubhouse floods when it rains. Once they start this development, which is up higher than the golf course area, it's going to create erosion and water sheds off of that subdivision, not to mention the unsightly look that it's going to add to our subdivision.
Hello, this is Deborah. I'm Raymond's wife, and I agree totally. And just wanted to add also that a lot of the things that have been done to the wetlands, which are supposed to be protected, were done without a permit. And I think our neighbor has submitted some pretty strong photos that illustrate that. It's really heartbreaking. And then also just as recently, they were instructed to go down and cut several trees from the common ground, which is really not their property. And so on top of the fact that the houses don't comply with the look of our neighborhood whatsoever, and the fact that they have to build a big bluff up across the back there to do it, which is going to make them tower up, and the boarding that they use instead of the bricks and stucco doesn't even match our neighborhood. All these other things, which actually our neighbor, who is a builder and knows a lot about flooding, could even describe better than we can. And he's written a detailed letter, which I'm sure you have in your notes. But I was just going to say, it's just really hard to believe that someone would want to ramrod something through and take liberties with our protected areas without getting a permit, as if to say they don't care about our neighborhood or the people in it who have lived here since 1995. They think it's okay just to ramrod it through to get their idea. And also, Raymond and I both love the idea of what they're doing across the way, across on the other side. Anything to improve our area, Franklin, we absolutely love it, but not to the detriment of people who have lived here and cared for this property since 1995, which is us, all of us.
Basically, we feel like that they're trying to put these 6 houses in to pay for the cost of the whole development. In other words, they're doing it on our backs.
Okay.
They are, and the fact is, it does cost a lot to do what they're talking about doing, and the homes would be used to pay for an investment they're trying to make across the street, which really it appears as though they can't afford. They would be doing it with the sale of those homes. So that's how we feel.
Great. Thank you for taking the time to comment. Are there any other comments from anyone on the phone?
Hi, this is Chet Foster. I live at 215 Cheekwood Court. Lived here since the beginning, and not everybody agrees that the homes would not look nice and fit in. And I would defer to all the...
Hello.
Hello.
Hold on.
This is Jeff Dykes.
Jeff, hold on.
Okay.
Am I still on? Chet Foster?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I would just leave it up to the real environmental engineers and so on to make a decision whether it's the right thing to do. And communicated with some of you that the owner of the golf course is a good person, and he's not out to take advantage of us. And that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else like to make a public comment? Please give us your name and address and hold your comments to 2 minutes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please proceed.
Hello, this is Jeff Dice. Can you hear me?
Hold on, Jeff.
Okay. This is Ross Miller at 525 Dunwoody Court. We have lived here since 1996 as well. And we would prefer that if housing were to be approved, that it would only be approved that blend in with the current Cheekwood homes. I don't think to put in homes that do not mix would be a good thing. And so I oppose it from that standpoint.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there one other person on the phone?
Jeff Dice, can you hear me?
Hey, Jeff, we can hear you. Everybody else put your phone on mute, please. Jeff Dykes, give us your name, address, and hold your comments to 2 minutes.
Address is 108 Broadley Court. Was involved with the original development in 1994 with Construction Associates, which is now Carbine Development. I just want to make sure that all the planning commissioners got my note. I misread the paper you mailed out, and I thought the deadline was noon today, but I had emailed each commissioner a copy of 16 questions, and I'd be happy to read the questions, but if you've got them in front of you, I'd like you to take those into consideration, along with my letter on how I feel about this whole thing. I've been dealing with this for 7 years. Once the Johnsons sold this property to Mr. Jester, it was going to be a church to begin with. From the very first Saturday morning when I met Mr. Jester, and I was going to be sued if I didn't come sign the 25-acre lease agreement over to him, and he was going to own my house. That is how my first meeting went. And it's gone downhill since. You know, what Deborah's telling you, what Raymond, what everybody's telling you, is that golf course was in beautiful condition. And now I want you all to come out and look at this creek, in which he had to have known. Anybody, I learned in middle school that you couldn't take out cattails and lily pads out of a wetland area, which he proceeded to do without a permit, without asking anybody, along with cutting down trees on the common area that we were nice enough to lease to him so he could continue the golf course. It's been one thing after another. So I think my letters and my notes say it all, but I'd be more than happy to read them to you if you'd like me to.
No, sir, we appreciate your comments. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to make comments tonight?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, if you're not speaking, please put your phone on mute. Ma'am, please.
Okay, this is Anna Fitzhugh at 112 Broadley Court. And I agree that no home should be built behind us. I totally oppose it. What they've done is terrible to our community, our beautiful cul-de-sacs, and the beautiful golf course that used to exist. I am for the south side, what they're planning there, but it's a tragedy what they want to do to the north side. And so I oppose what they are proposing on the north side.
Thank you, Ms. Fitzhugh. Are there any other public comments?
It appears not.
Appears not. Okay, so the public comment portion of the meeting is closed.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have to recuse myself, please.
Okay, so Jimmy will recuse himself. Okay, so is there a presentation by the applicant for this tonight?
Who is?
Yes, hi, this is Greg Gamble.
Hello.
Hold on, Greg. Is there
Is there a citizen on the line who would like to speak?
Yes, there is someone here. This is Chuck Kirkpatrick.
Okay, Chuck, give us your name and address, and please hold your comments to 2 minutes, please.
Okay, sure will. My name is Chuck Kirkpatrick. We live at 116 Broadley Court, next to Anna, not too far from Jeff, and near some other folks here who are facing a lot of the development that's been going on, or I guess the beginning of the development. As I said in the letter that I sent in yesterday, over the past 2 weeks on 3 occasions, the crews have been sent out to take out trees and take out brush from the Deerfield branch. When my wife went out and asked them what they were doing, they said that they'd been told to stop, I presume, by the developer. I don't know. But whoever sent them out told them to stop if someone asked them to. She asked if they had a permit. They said they didn't, acknowledging that they were doing the wrong thing. They weren't supposed to be out there. So they left. They came back in about a week, and we're doing the same thing. My wife, Candace, called, spoke with, I believe it was Doug Noonan. Doug came out and put a halt to it. So they did stop then, and then just yesterday they had the tractor going again on the creek. I don't know that they were cutting down trees, but they had the tractor on the Deerfield branch, which I believe is not supposed to be done, hauling out the stuff from the creek in that area. So it's been pretty hard to deal with the folks who are wanting to develop this. I think if it had been done in good faith and there had been an attempt to work with the neighborhood, that would have been pretty easy to do with this group. It's a cooperative group of people until you start trying to tear up things that you're not supposed to tear up without regard for any of the regulations or the ordinances. Our house did have some flooding, not the house, the backyard did have flooding in 2010. I am concerned, as I said in the letter, about flooding, about wetlands, about disregard for the environment. Concern is that if this is approved and the homes are put in over there, and this proceeds, that the group that has been running it will continue to act like they want to and make any change they want to make without regard to what they're really allowed to do. Once they've done it, it's hard to undo it. So I'll yield.
Great, thank you, sir. Are there any other public comments?
Yes.
This is Jeff Dice again. I'd like to reiterate.
Jeff, please.
Yes.
Ma'am, there's someone had wants to make a public.
Okay, I'll go back to mute. Someone does that.
Yes, this is Elizabeth Fuller. I live at 107 Broadley Court, and I agree with what Raymond, Deborah, Jeff, and Chuck and Anna have said. I oppose what they're doing to our property and what they want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that has not had a chance to speak yet? Okay, seeing none, is there a presentation by the applicant, please?
Yes, hi, this is Greg Gamble, and I have a presentation. If I may share my screen. Do you mind muting the callers? Thank you. Again, my name is Greg Gamble, and I'm so excited to be a part of the consultant team that the Cheekwood ownership has put together for the design of not only the north side of Mac Hatcher, but also the south side. Our team is led by Nicholas Design and includes my firm, Gamble Design Collaborative, 906 Studio, Jester Golf, and the Tennessee Golf Foundation. Cheekwood North is a portion of the existing course that's there today. Cheekwood South we'll talk about next in the order of presentations. Envision Franklin identifies this property as single-family residential design policy. Slightly grayed underneath this policy is the 100-year floodplain line. So you can see that kind of the limits of that 100-year floodplain line. There is a portion of the property over here on the eastern property boundary that is outside of the 100-year floodplain. The existing zoning on the property today is PD, Plan District, and we're proposing to keep the Plan District base zone. However, we are asking for the addition of 6 single-family lots. There are several property owners associated with this. One is the existing homeowners association, and then Cheekwood Golf Club. Cheekwood Golf Club owns the area that's shown here in green, and that is the extent of the rezoning request that we are asking for tonight. We are not changing or developing any of the land that is currently owned by the HOA. However, it will still be used as golf. This area over here on the far west side will still have 3 holes of golf just as they are today. There's a par 3, a par 5, and a par 4. The area shown on the far east here owned by the HOA will also remain as a chipping area for practice. There have been some questions and concerns that were brought up regarding activities that have taken place on the property lately. This aerial map here shows existing tree canopy on the property. There is a creek that flows across the property diagonally. It is the responsibility of the developer through this process and through site development that all exotic invasives be removed from these stream channels. So this is not only the stream channels, but also along the Harpeth River. We have several photographs here showing the removal of the bush honeysuckle and the privet that exists out on the property today. The golf course, Cheekwood Golf Club, is in the process of going through and removing all of these exotic invasives. We are doing that in collaboration with the city of Franklin. They're aware of this process. This is privet. And so all of this, the exotic invasives that are the understory canopy of these trees must be removed and is required to be removed. With that, I'm happy to go into the development plan, but I'd like to reserve the rest of the presentation for the next item on the agenda. Happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the zoning of the property.
Yeah, this is Raymond Hicks again at 104 Broadley Court. I'd like to know what
Mr. Hicks, the public comment period is over. I'm sorry.
I want to know if they're going to break the lease.
Mr. Hicks. Roger.
They will be in default of the lease if they build any homes or any lighting on.
Mr. Hicks, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to refrain. The public comment period is now over.
He did ask for comments. We were just commenting.
Yes, I'm sorry. Chairman Lindsay, you're muted.
Mr. Chair, you're muted.
I'm sorry. So we have a process that we go through. We've been through the public comment period and then the presentation by the applicant. So the next item up is a motion on this item. Do we have a motion for the item number 6?
Move for approval, Mike Orr.
We have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second, Scott Harrison.
We have a proper motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have questions. There were several things were brought up in a comment section about floodplain. This is to staff about the floodplain and erosion in this area. This is to staff. Are you satisfied, staff, about the questions and concerns that the residents in this area have about the floodplain and the wetlands?
I can take that one. The
there's a couple things I can touch on. One, the clearing, which the gentleman earlier mentioned that Doug Noonan, one of our senior inspectors, went out and stopped the work because we were not aware of it. The clearing is actually separate from this development plan. The development plan will establish buffers, and then there will be a buffer mitigation plan that Greg alluded to, which will require plantings and removal of invasives. So there's really two separate items. We're investigating it, going through it with the property owner, and we'll have adequate response over time. So we did get those complaints, and we are responding. The floodplain part of it, at the development plan stage, the applicant's not required to go through the FEMA process for a CLOMAR at this time, but they will be required to meet all of the federal, state, and local regulations for floodplain development, which requires that there be no rise in the floodplain and no increase in flooding downstream. So as far as the erosion is concerned, we can look into that as well. We've actually been on site, obviously, to look at the other things. So we're happy to meet with the residents and whoever's leading the effort with the neighborhood. If you talk to Doug Noonan, continue to talk with him, and I can be involved as much as necessary.
So Jimmy, there's no permit required to remove those invasives. The work that was done that was legal, it was okay to do that without a permit?
We're looking into it still. If there are buffers in place, typically the clearing is not permitted, but we're doing some research to see what buffers are actually in place, if there are any. And we just got this information more recently and are discussing it internally, but we will respond appropriately as needed.
Okay.
Okay. If I can ask a follow-up question to that, you mentioned the CLOMAR, the conditional letter of map revision. Does this project anticipate the disturbance or removal of floodway along the Harpeth River?
I do not believe so. I don't think they're impacting the floodway at any point. I don't think there is floodplain on the property, but I don't think there's impacts that would require. There will be a CLOMAR, but not an H&H study necessarily.
Right. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll go to a roll call vote. Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Franks?
He's recused himself.
Okay, he's recusing. I'm sorry. Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Alderman Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson?
Aye.
The motion passes.
I have a problem. And I would be bad if I don't say it out loud. And that is, Mr.
Ma'am, can you?
Recused himself because he is a partner in on it. And I also do.
Ma'am, there's a public hearing time and it's not now, ma'am.
Can we mute the people? I'm sorry.
Yes, Kelly's working on that.
How can we have a vote if we don't have all the facts?
Item number 7 is consideration of resolution 2020-298, a resolution approving a development plan for Cheekwood North PUD subdivision for the property located south of Spencer Creek Road and north of Mack Hatcher Parkway, located at 285 Spencer Creek Road. We have staff presentation.
Yes, thank you. The applicant has submitted a development plan for the Cheekwood North PUC subdivision to update the existing golf course and add housing on the property located at 285 Spencer Creek Road. The plan proposes 6 new single-family residential lots and 14,300 square feet of utility space for equipment storage and recreational use. The subject property is in the single-family design concept, which does allow for single-family institutional and recreational uses. The proposed architecture is compatible with the surrounding area and meets the recommendations of Envision Franklin. All new residential structures will be placed outside of the floodway fringe overlay, or the FFO. The applicant has also indicated that they will relocate the existing pump station for city water services away from the proposed residential lots. That specific location and design will be determined with the site plan submittal. The current administrative and recreational services on the property will be relocated to the Cheekwood South PUD subdivision on the southern side of Mac Hatcher Parkway. That plan is also included on tonight's agenda. Staff recommends approval with conditions to the board, mayor and alderman. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're open for public comment on this item again. And as we call on you, we'll ask that you give us your name and address.
Mr. Chairman.
Limit your comments. Yes.
I did want to include, we did receive several letters or emails from citizens concerning are concerned about the added traffic, floodplain, and wetland protection. And those are in full in your packets. Just wanted to mention that before we got to the public comment section.
Great. Thank you, Joey. So again, it's time for public comment. So we'll ask your name and address and hold your comments to 2 minutes. Thank you.
If you would like to speak on this item, unmute yourself or hit *6.
Public comment. So we'll ask your name and address and hold your comments to 2 minutes.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
This is Jeff Dykes, 108 Broadley Court. I just want everybody, all commissioners, to be aware that if there are any homes built on the golf course property, which is present golf course property, that the 25 acres and the 1,800 feet of river frontage, where you're saying you're planning on extending the golf course or have practice or whatever, will no longer. We own that property and it will be in default of the lease. So you won't be able to use it for golf.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dykes. Are there any other public comments?
Yes. This is Deborah Allen Hicks at 104 Broadley Court. I just want to say that there is a setback over there that is very important on the south side. And I noticed in the last time we attended one of your meetings that setback, which the big Methodist church over there observes, and they lived up to the requirement of the city, but the setback was waived for this golf course. It seems to be there's a lot of waivers going on for this golf course. And I want to also say that without having the additional homes and concrete and the bluff that they're talking about being built on the north side, that we have experienced water up to our house before, not in it, but up to it. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that water cannot absorb into concrete and it's got to roll and go somewhere. And, you know, as far as honeysuckle and all of that, you know, let me say that Franklin is known for its historic integrity. Where has our integrity gone? Why is it all of a sudden okay for someone to come in with a bulldozer and tear up a wetland and to cut down trees on our property that they're leasing? You know, are they going to replace these trees? And, you know, I think there's a lot of blind eyes going on. And also, I know I may be overstepping my boundary, but there is an alderman who is involved in this, who is actually employed by Jester, or at least has been in the past, who has been lobbying. And I think that is not very good. I mean, if Mr. Franks has recused himself, to me, it seems like it's very against the integrity of this whole operation here for her to be going around lobbying. I'm talking about Miss Beverly, and I don't mean this personally. I'm just saying it's not right.
Okay, thank you very much, Deborah.
Investigated. You're welcome.
Are there any other public comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
This is Chuck Kirkpatrick. I'm unclear on exactly what's being considered right now. Could you tell me? I'm 116 Broadley Court.
Right. This is a resolution for the development plan for this project.
Okay, so this would be for the 6 homes over there?
It's a plan for the entire north side. So it's the the plan for the golf course property. It's a maintenance facility. It's 6 homes. And
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, thank you. As I said in my letter comment, which I hope you have as well, I'm against the development and adding the homes over there. It takes away a lot of, or changes existing normal dirt into runoff of asphalt and adds to that. And I think it's we don't know exactly what's going to happen flood-wise in the future, but it seems like it's pretty risky to me to be making changes where just, again, 11 years ago, we had a pretty bad flood and the water was way backed up, waiting to get into the Harpeth for a day back up in our backyard. So I'm opposed to it. And again, it's just are knowing that regardless of what's promised or what the laws or regulations are of the city, once you let these guys continue, they'll do what they want. And I'll yield.
Thank you, sir. Are there other public comments?
Yes, Anna Fitzhugh, 112 Broadley Court, Franklin, Tennessee. I totally oppose. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Are there any other public comments?
I'd like to say one more thing, Mr. Chairman, if possible.
Yes, Anna Fitzhugh.
This Spencer Creek Road low spot where they're talking about.
We have another speaker on the line. I'm going to go ahead and mute you.
Go ahead, caller.
I'd like to say one more thing, Mr. Chairman, if possible.
Is there anyone who has not spoken yet on this item? Yeah. Is anyone else that has not spoken to this item yet?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Could you give us your name and address and hold your comments to 2 minutes, please? Please proceed.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
No,
Jeff Dykes again.
The lady, Jeff, please stop. The lady.
Oh, I thought you said go ahead. Excuse me.
There's a lady that wishes to make a comment.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed.
Hi, my name is Candace. I live at 116 Broadley Court. I back up to the creek, and I'm ashamed of what is actually happening in our neighborhood. When Mr. Noonan came out, he said they have done damage on the wetlands and in the creek, and they did not have a permit. And they continue to do things illegally without respect for any of the homeowners that live here. If you put houses right there, I'm talking they will be right here in my sight line, in my backyard, and it will cause tremendous flooding. And I don't see how y'all can pass a law without even coming out here and looking at the damage they have done. It would behoove you to at least postpone this and come and look what has been done thus far before making a decision on behalf of us.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments from anyone who has not spoken to this item yet?
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I apologize if I've spoken over anybody.
15 seconds.
But I want to make it clear that we've almost lost a teenager BGA student who hydroplaned at this low area of Spencer Creek Road. Several years ago, there's been several wrecks from hydroplaning. The city and the county come out and put high water signs up because half of the road is county and half of it's city, and nobody can make a decision. But the road, Spencer Creek Road, has to be raised. You need a bridge there in order to do this development. And I'm with Deborah. What's happened to the integrity of this city?
Yes, sir.
Is it more important?
Thank you for your comment, sir. Has anyone not spoken to this item yet? Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion of the meeting and for a presentation by the applicant.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, this is Greg Gamble, and I'm joined in the call tonight by Todd Jester and Mike Hathaway and Steve Casey, and we're all here to answer questions that you may have. I would like to share my screen for a brief presentation. As I mentioned, our consultant team is led by Nicholas Design. They've designed over 425 courses in over 45 countries and 40 states. They are led by Jack Nicholas and his design philosophy to produce timeless premium golf courses around the world. We're excited to bring this opportunity to the city of Franklin and to be consulting with Cheekwood and be in partnership with the city of Franklin through this process of design review. The golf course on the north side will be designed for 9 3-hole par 3 holes. These holes, again, are designed within the area that's currently owned by Cheekwood. This is, again, there are no changes to the lease land. The area owned by Cheekwood is approximately 35 acres in size. It includes incorporating a new pond here adjacent to hole 7. And this new pond, we're hoping will be able to store additional irrigation water that is desperately needed for the course today. This side of the course will include a maintenance facility and a new halfway house. The halfway house is designed in a very historic Middle Tennessee architectural style, and we believe will absolutely resonate within the city of Franklin's kind of architectural style and culture. The maintenance facility is being relocated on the site and will include the location for all of the cart storage as well as the mowing equipment. Again, designed using traditional Middle Tennessee architectural style and character. I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about the 6 single-family homes and the maintenance facility. Today, the maintenance facility is located on the ground floor of the golf shop. This is a 2-story facility located close to Spencer Creek Road. This area here is the large parking area to accommodate all of the golfers who are coming to play today. All of the mowing equipment and staging happens in the rear of this facility, and we believe we can improve this situation. We are proposing to relocate the facility closer to Mac Hatcher and much further away from existing single-family homes. All of the doors that you saw are located along the front, facing out this direction toward the toward the new golf course. The rear of the facility will not have access. So as mowing equipment and or carts leave this facility, they'll be going in this direction. A lot of that is to control any noise that might bother direct adjacent neighbors. We are proposing 6 single-family homes. As you can see, those single-family homes are predominantly outside of the existing 100-year floodplain. We do anticipate a manipulation of approximately 3/4 of an acre of the 100-year floodplain, and we'll follow not only the city of Franklin's process, but also FEMA's process in order to manipulate that floodplain. That is one element that Steve Casey is looking at. We have, as Jimmy mentioned, we have not started the Clomar, but we've done evaluation and investigation to understand that at this point, it is possible to do what we're asking to do. Lots 1 through 6 are alley loaded, single family detached homes. They're alley loaded from behind. these homes and the lots that they're on are compatible in size to those not only in Dunwoody Court, but on the surrounding area. These homes are planned to be 2-story, single-family detached, generous front porches, and streetscapes appropriate for this style of home in the city of Franklin. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Would you like for me to leave the presentation up to refer to slides?
Certainly. Okay. So do we have a motion on this item?
Mr. Gamble? Mr. Gamble?
Sir, please, the public comment period is over on this line item. This is up to deliberation by the Planning Commission. So is there a motion for this item?
But the public needs to speak. The public needs to speak to this. If you really want to have a fair and educated vote, you need to allow the.
And we have done that. We have had an opportunity, and I called for final comments by the public, and there was dead silence for a period of time that allowed us to proceed on with the meeting, which is what we need to do now. So, is there a motion?
But there were new comments. There were.
Is there a motion on this project?
The additional comments make a difference.
Is there a motion on this project?
Move for approval, Mike Orr.
Second, Alma McLemore.
Alma, thank you. Is there any discussion on this item?
Yeah, I have just a few questions. My first one being that I know there is some concern from the residents just as far as these looking architecturally different. So my first question would be kind of the buffer, if there's any sort of planned vegetated buffer between these two developments on the back. Then I think also another question I would have, as far as I know you're kind of, this is already existing, most of it's existing golf course, and you're kind of retooling it to change up some of the holes and everything. But just kind of as a curiosity, what, if any considerations are made for different runoffs, whether it be herbicides, pesticides, stuff like that?
Okay, I'm happy to answer your first question. Along lot number 1, we have a 10-foot landscape easement, landscape buffer, where we're planning to protect the existing trees that are along that edge. Lot number 1 is directly adjacent to an open space lot. Directly adjacent to the alley, then we have a single family home here that's fronting this direction toward Dunwoody Court. Its rear yard is located here. Currently, it is kind of unimpeded to the golf course mowers and the equipment that's directly behind the clubhouse. So with landscape, we're going to provide additional privacy that this homeowner does not have today. Directly adjacent to that, then behind lots 3, 4, and 5, as proposed, is an open space lot at the end of Dunwoody Court. Behind lot 6, we have another single family home here facing in this direction. Behind them, they have a pretty well established tree canopy. So we're going to be setting aside 25 feet of landscape buffer adjacent to the alley to make sure that we have those trees protected. Todd Jester, you're on the phone. Do you mind unmuting yourself and talking a little bit about your plans regarding Commissioner Williamson's second question?
Yes, and be more than happy to. Thank you for the question, Commissioner Williamson. We actually are going to adopt the Audubon International guidelines for construction and maintenance. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they are probably the leading guidelines for environmental construction and maintenance on golf courses that also address runoff, pest management, fertilizer management, and things of that nature. We will strive to get a certification and maintain certification. The way we build golf courses today, we do our best to avoid any natural runoff into any open area or blue line creeks. our goal is to get as much water into our irrigation ponds as we can so that we can then spread out the so-called stormwater as irrigation. We also have a plan with the stormwater treatment plant across the river. There is blue line pipe that's already on our side of the river to connect into that, and then therefore use that type of wastewater for irrigation as well.
And I had just one other question, I guess kind of related. I read in there too something about like if golf balls are found downstream, and just another kind of curiosity because I have lived downstream from different golf courses in my life, and you always find one or two that kind of. So just a question: if say residents do start finding golf balls, what would be the procedure for them to say, hey, these are showing up?
To my knowledge, I mean, that happens all over the country and world. We've actually spoken with Johnny several times on several of the issues because it is a sensitive area. You'd think that someone would go get them. We are actually going to be required to sign these areas to where some areas won't be able to go in and get your golf ball. So should golf balls do flow downstream, think that is something that will happen. It's just considered a lost golf ball at that point. So,
Thank you, Mr. Jester.
I have a question.
May I make a comment quickly? I'm sorry.
Certainly, Jimmy, go ahead.
One thing to keep in mind with the golf balls in the stream is that is technically a pollutant. So we will need to look into how that can be managed because it would be an illicit discharge per the stormwater ordinance, just so everyone's aware.
Thank you.
This is Greg. You'll notice we've changed orientation on some of these golf holes, like hole number 1, it plays away from the river. Hole number 2 plays away from the river. So really trying to take that into consideration, as Jimmy mentioned.
Okay, thank you. Other comments or questions?
Yeah. Commissioner Peterson or Alderman Peterson would like to go first.
I'm sorry?
Okay, I can go real quick. Yeah, I just wanted to address the flooding concerns. It looks like they're not building a home inside of the 100-year floodplain, but there is going to be, looks like a turnaround within that, within that floodplain and some manipulation there. I just want to make sure, is the staff okay with this as proposed? That seems to be my biggest concern here.
Can comment on that.
Sure, Jimmy.
As mentioned before, the applicant will have to go through the LOMAR map revision process that goes through the city and ultimately FEMA for approval. That will involve removing the buildable lots out of the floodplain, and we will look certainly closely at site plan to see what impacts that may or may not have to the cul-de-sac. I believe Greg showed earlier that would be removed as well, but he can confirm. Removed from the floodplain.
Yes, this will be raised out of the floodplain as well as the roadways here that go around the maintenance facility. We are required, if we fill areas of floodplain, that we provide 150% storage. By adding this new pond in here, we will be adding additional floodplain volume storage as compensation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may,
Peterson.
we need to say that this motion is to recommend approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. The same thing was true for the previous item. Our motion and our responsibility here is to recommend approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. In other words, these will also be voted on by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Correct.
Alderman Peterson, we know that. That's the job of the planning commission. We know that.
Okay.
No, but I mean, I do not think that the people who were calling in for comments knew it. We know it, but I wasn't sure that they did.
To that point, Alderman Peterson, this project also consists of a staff recommendation with conditions. And so our recommendation for approval should include reference to staff conditions. So let's clean that up. We've got a motion for approval and a second and a proper second. Is there a motion then to modify that language to read that the recommendation is to approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with staff recommendations, staff conditions?
Aren't conditions part of the approval? When they recommended to go to Boma, staff, the conditions are part of that recommendation, aren't they?
Is that a motion, Alma?
No, I'm asking if they already are part of that. That's what I'm thinking.
Commissioner McLemore, it would need to be part of the motion for the conditions to be part of the recommendation.
Okay,
motion.
so whoever made the original motion, maybe they need to,
I did.
Mike Orr.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Move for approval with staff conditions to recommend it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
And
Okay,
Alma seconds.
And Alma seconds?
Alma seconds.
Okay. Okay, so that is a proper motion and second. Is there any other discussion on this project? Seeing none, we'll go to roll call vote. Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Franks is recused, right? Commissioner Harrison?
I'm going to vote no.
Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Alderman Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries. Okay, item number 8. Consideration of ordinance 2020-37, an ordinance to rezone 53.52 acres from civic institutional CI district to planned PD 58,909 district for the property located west of Aldersgate Way and south of Machatcher Parkway, a project known as Cheekwood South PUD. Do we have a staff presentation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject properties from civic institutional to planned district to accommodate the Cheekwood South PUD subdivision and construct golf course facilities. The property is currently vacant. Envision Franklin places this parcel in the recreation design concept, which supports both public and private recreational opportunities. The proposed rezoning entitlements include 58,909 square feet of non-residential space for the golf course facilities. The rezoning is consistent with Envision Franklin and can be supported by staff. So therefore, staff recommends approval of the ordinance to rezone to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for clarification, are there staff conditions associated with this recommendation?
No, this is just a straight recommendation of approval.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this item?
If you would like to speak on this item, please unmute yourself or hit *6. No comment.
So we have no comments. And as we proceed, so we can go to a presentation by the applicant at this point.
Yes, hi, this is Greg Gamble, representing the applicant tonight. And we'll share my screen for the rezoning. So this property is on the south side of Machatcher Parkway. It is a total of 53.52 acres in size, currently owned by the city of Franklin. As mentioned by staff, the Envision Franklin policy is for recreation. The existing zoning is civic institutional based district, and civic institutional does not support golf as a use. We're proposing a rezoning of the property to the planned development district to allow golf and the proposed development plan that we'll be presenting to you tonight. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. And just before we proceed in, I want to make note again that Commissioner Jimmy Franks is still recused from this item, so he will not be in participation in this item. Is there a motion on this project?
So moved.
Move for approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Commissioner Allen.
Alma seconds.
Wait a minute. So this is a motion for a recommendation of approval to the Board of Mayor and
Marcia
Aldermen.
Allen. Yes, as they all are. Marcia Allen.
Thank you.
And Alma McLemore
And Alma?
second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. Is this a 19-hole golf course?
No, it is not. The existing course that is on the north side will be a 9-hole par 3. On the south side of the course will be a golf training facility. And now we'll walk you through that in a little bit more detail here in just a few moments with the development plan.
Oh, yes, lots of
Okay.
details. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will proceed with roll call vote. Commissioner Allen?
Hold on for just a sec. He said he was going to give us details. I haven't gotten any.
He is on the development plan. Is that item 9?
This is just for the rezone.
Okay, aye.
We'll cover that in the development plan on our next item.
Okay, aye.
Okay, aye for, okay. Commissioner Franks has recused himself. Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Alderman Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson?
Aye.
Motion passes. So the next item is item number 9. Consideration of resolution 2020-299, a resolution approving a development plan for Cheekwood South PUD subdivision for the property located west of Aldersgate Way and south of Machatcher Parkway. Staff presentation.
Yes, thank you. The applicant has submitted a development plan for the Cheekwood South PUD subdivision to develop a golf course and driving range. The subject property consists of 53.52 acres and is located south of Machatcher Parkway and west of Aldersgate Way. The property is owned by the city of Franklin and currently vacant. Envision Franklin places this parcel in the recreation design concept. The design concept supports both private and public recreational opportunities. The proposed architecture of the site facilities responds to the rural character of the Machatcher corridor and is compatible with existing development in the immediate area. Any golf balls that are hit into the surrounding jurisdictional features, including wetlands, rivers, and streams, shall be considered an illicit discharge followed by notices of violations and civil penalties per the City of Franklin Stormwater Ordinance. Therefore, additional information regarding nets for the driving range will be required at the site plan submittal to ensure proper protection of the Harpeth River and surrounding wetlands. There is a condition of approval to also remove the sidewalk currently shown encroaching into a protected wetland. Staff recommends approval with conditions to the board, Mayor and Alderman. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. We're opening the meeting now for public comment on this item. Is there anyone who would like to, from the public, who would like to speak to this item?
If you would like to speak, unmute yourself or hit *6.
Hello, would you wish to make a public comment?
Yes. Can y'all hear?
Yes, please give us your name and address and hold your comments to 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. Will do. And this is probably more of a question. So Thomas Herbert, 301 Stanley Park Lane in Franklin. I was reviewing the packet online, and it was just tough to see if there were proposed changes to the effective floodway for the Harpeth. And I think that was answered earlier in the negative. So I was just sort of double checking that, with the submittal that was clear that wasn't included. And I just had that question. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Herbert. Are there other public comments? Any other public comments?
Mr. Chair, the applicant has indicated that there is a tornado warning in his location and sirens are going off.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm seeing there's a tornado in eastern Williamson County heading into Rutherford County.
I see that as well.
So it's eastern?
It said it's getting closer to us. That's what the TV is saying.
I showed it is going away from us.
Mm-hmm. I'm just watching for some TV.
I'm in the north part of the city. I don't hear sirens here.
Neither do I.
I heard
Either,
something.
but my kids just headed for the safe spot, whatever that's worth.
Okay.
That's got quite a storm going. I've got 2 radars going.
Should we take a recess?
I would suggest yes.
We can, okay, we'll go into recess then. And what time is it?
For how long?
Let's do a 15-minute recess to kind of check on the status of things.
Yeah, they're saying get there now to the lowest area.
Okay.
See y'all in 15.
And, you know, the warning did include Williamson County, but any tornado warning is really heading east through Smyrna now.
Okay.
It's been canceled for Williamson County, Vernon.
Yeah. I've been trying to watch both of that, but thank you for taking a 15-minute recess, allow people to look at their TVs or phones. It makes everybody feel a little bit more comfortable about what's happening, and it's never nothing to fool with. But we'll be good from here, it looks like.
Good.
Thank you.
Got radar on for us.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott.
Okay, we're good. Let's finish.
We have a resident weatherman here.
Oh yeah, this comes from flying in small planes. You got to learn the weather.
Chairman, I'm ready to present if
Okay.
you.
Yeah, hang on just a second. Let me make sure we get everybody back. I think we're a couple minutes short of our 15-minute. Alma, are you back?
Last we chatted.
I am.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure we had all of our commissioners. It looks like we do. So we're assured that the tornado is in Smyrna or headed east. So we're good to go. So we were in the midst of wrapping up the public comment portion of this item. So we can go to a presentation by the applicant. Greg?
Thank you. Again, my name is Greg Gamble. I'm going to share my screen. We are now looking out the south side of Mack Hatcher. And this side of Mack Hatcher will see the relocation of the golf club to this property. So today, there are about 40,000 vehicle trips per year that use Spencer Creek Road to access Cheekwood Golf Club. Now they'll be able to go to the signalized intersection at Mack Hatcher Parkway and access the clubhouse on the south side. So significantly reducing the traffic volumes on Spencer Creek that relate directly to the golf club itself. The south side is designed as a golf training facility. And this is really where golf professionals are going to be able to teach, where golf enthusiasts are going to have the opportunity to learn and really fine tune their game of golf. As staff mentioned, it does include a driving range here. It includes a chipping area. And will include a 6-hole practice course, really meant for short game challenges and short game practice for chipping, putting, playing out of the sand bunkers. And that is one of the most technically difficult pieces and parts of golf, and giving the opportunity for golfers to have a practice facility like this in Middle Tennessee is extremely exciting. I want to turn your attention here to the Williamson County GIS map, which shows the 100-year floodplain and the floodway on the property. Again, Steve Casey is a part of our engineering team and working with us on a design and a grading plan that is really respectful to the floodplain and the design of the golf facility on this property. You will notice here that the majority of the land that is in this northeast corner of the site is outside of the floodplain. We will be manipulating approximately 3.5 acres of the floodplain, but replacing that volume. It's shallow volume of floodplain storage in this area. We'll be replacing that volume on the course with the design of the grading for this plan. This side of the property includes a complex of buildings. And on this slide here, you can kind of see the scale and the campus and how it relates to the size and scale of the Franklin First United Methodist, I can't talk, Battleground Academy, and other campuses that are along this portion of Mac Hatcher Parkway. This is a representative photograph of the driving range, and you can see that it's more than just a driving range. It's more than just a place to hit a golf ball out to. It does have sand bunkers to create challenges. It will have flags and actual greens to provide targets for golfers as they're practicing and fine-tuning their own skills. The buildings on the campus will include a clubhouse, covered hitting bays for being able to play at all times of the weather, a golf performance center, teaching building, a golf house, which if you're coming to play the 9 holes on the other side of Mac Hatcher, you will check in at the golf house, and then we will have a golf cart path that will then come underneath Mac Hatcher in this location, and then you'll be able to play the par 3 9-hole course on the north side. So really moving all of the traffic and all of the kind of check-in to this south side of the road. We also have a golf shop where equipment can be purchased, will be available on the property. The Hitting and Teaching Academy then will have bays that include digital performance equipment that will allow golfers to better understand their swing and better refine their game with their coaches. There will be a practice putting area that will be located just in front of the building, where there will be additional events and games that could be played as a part of the putting area. We are planning the clubhouse to be a high-end club, very welcoming and inviting to the general public. Looking at the view of the golf house will be again, Mike Hathaway is going to probably shoot me, but this, because I probably can't articulate it well enough, but he's on the line so he can come in and correct me. But, Middle Tennessee architecture, what is architecture that really says Franklin? And that was one of the challenges that the team kind of put forward to 906 Studios, and really excited to see what they've come up with, because I really feel like that they've really hit it on the designs. Looking at the elevation of the clubhouse building as seen from Mac Hatcher Parkway, again, pulling from a lot of the rural character, whether it be equestrian to the Middle Tennessee rural architecture. When you start looking at buildings of this size, a lot of the barns and a lot of the rural equestrian character seems to start to resonate very well on this property. Looking at, so with that, I wanted to hand it over to Todd Jester, who wanted to talk a little bit more about the experience that they plan to provide on this property. Todd?
Sure. Thank you, Greg. And I kind of want to remind you, last time we came before this commission, we are in the process of working and negotiating a strategic partnership with the Tennessee Golf Foundation, which is over at the Little Course. A lot of that process is what you're seeing in this development plan here. The actual 6-hole par 3 golf course is part of their curriculum. They call that the player development course. They literally have youth classes and other type of junior high and high school activities every hour on the hour. The building that they are calling, that we've labeled the Golf House, we're proposing actually creating a Tennessee Golf Hall of Fame in that building. Also, that where the teaching building is proposed is where we're creating like different what we're calling team rooms. So we have such a demand for our junior highs and high schools. Even some of the smaller colleges in the area have golf teams. The large putting green to the north, as you take a look at the 150-foot corridor, we're placing that in there. That's over about 1.75 acres. And the overall programming that since we've been working with the National Golf or the Tennessee Golf Foundation is very youth driven. Their situation is expanding. We're happy to bring them on, and also the marriage with Nicholas Design, bringing their philosophy to the game. Nicholas tells us over and over again, there's nothing like this that even exists in the country. Where the clubhouse and the covered hitting bays are, Golden Bear is interested with us to brand that as their flagship practice facility as they venture into these type of facilities as well. We're super excited about the partnerships and just excited to bring this to you.
And Chairman, I'm happy to leave the presentation pulled up. If anyone has any specific questions about the plan, I'm happy to turn slides.
Great, thank you. Okay. Do we have a motion? The motion, the proper motion on this item would be recommendation of approval with staff conditions to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Is there a motion?
Move for approval with staff conditions. This is Mike Orr.
Mike Orr.
And that's a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen as well.
Yes, thank you.
Scott Harrison, second.
We have a proper motion and second. Is there any discussion?
Questions. Obviously, I totally misunderstood when we discussed this at our joint conceptual meeting. I didn't realize. Okay, so question, Greg or Mr. Jester. Okay, so this is city property now. So Cheekwood's going to buy this property from the city. Is that
lease?
What I'm understanding?
It's going to be a lease agreement.
Okay, because when we talked before, I told you guys my dad's an avid golfer. And of course, he's not a member of, any of the private courses around here. And he and his golf buddies who are older, getting older, of course, have to drive away. So now what I'm seeing is not at all what I was expecting. Okay. Because it looks like this is something that's going to be programmed 24/7. Looks like you're going to have a golf pro here. You're going to have college kids coming in. You're going to have young people here all the time. I was hoping for something, especially since this is city land, there was something that was going to be able to be used by some people that live here now, vis-a-vis some older people, my dad, some people. But it looks like some of this is going to be programmed all the time. Am I off here?
No, I mean, it is most definitely open to the Franklin public. The idea is to get the youth and things of that nature locally involved. Yes, ma'am. Across the street, our par 3 golf course was actually considerably redesigned to cater to the senior golfer and things of that nature. There's no exclusion whatsoever, Miss Allen, here. I mean, we welcome every Franklin citizen, for that nature. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't, it just sounded like it was going to be programmed all the time with, with golf pros and all of that.
Miss, what's happening in Franklin and actually Williamson County, golf courses are disappearing because the land is just so valuable. They're, it's either turned to commercial or residential. And we, with these, it's essentially about 100 acres combined. It's kind of the golf preservation that we'd like to do. I mean, because like for your father, for us, there's one other publicly accessible golf course. He's either driving to Nashville or he's driving down to South Williamson County. That we're really wanting to kind of put golf, we're kind of putting our flag in the ground. Here we are, right here. This is golf, and please come see us.
That's exactly why I was so excited, because they're driving to, Montgomery Bell. They're driving to,
yes,
they're driving all over the place all the time. So yes, that's why I was so excited about it. Okay, thanks.
Good. Thank you, Marcia. Great question.
I have a question. how many, this is Nick Mann. Sorry
Yes,
to start with that. I can always see myself, so I assume everybody else can. I apologize. How many bays is the driving range, the covered bays area? To kind of get a sense for the size of it.
Right now, that covered hitting bay is looking at 68, and then the teaching bays, which are the performance center and the teaching bay, not just that one, but we also consider the bays in the performance bill, are 10. Now, what's so unique about those bays, if you see the little ovals out in front of them, that will be netted for about 10 feet high netting, so you can actually step out of your bay onto natural grass and hit towards your targets. When you're teaching, that's everyone's, ideal situation where you, with your electronics and things, you get everything put together, then you step out on real grass and you hit balls at that point.
Thank you. That's helpful. And on the covered hitting bays, is this going to be a multi-level or single level?
Yes, 3 levels. Yes, and we're speaking with TrackMan now. They actually just introduced their new bay and entertainment technology. So we're in negotiation with TrackMan to basically make the entire system a TrackMan property.
So, Mr. Jester, is that similar to the Topgolf type of layout?
What TrackMan is what you see all the PGA Tour players use. It's a much more higher end product. There's really no other way, Mr. Lindsay, to describe it. It's gives you more information. It gives you more player development information. It allows you to possibly have a golf league. Like say you and I, Mr. Lindsay, we're part of a league, but we can play people in Kansas City, Missouri, Los Angeles, California. A little bit of what we're looking at this is a family gathering thing. You could play your cousin in Florida or something at the same time. I mean, so this is technology, like we say, that is just literally on the cutting edge, just 2 weeks ago released.
Well, it sounds fascinating. It sounds like a real top end experience, but is using that level of technology, is that going to outprice the average man that wants to play it?
No, sir. We most definitely it'll be competitive prices. I mean there's no intention to create any type of exclusivity whatsoever. Right. Being open to the public. I mean, really, we encourage beginners and all types of folks to come experience the golf experience there. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this, is to introduce golf to the greater population.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a motion for recommend approval with staff conditions to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a proper second. By roll call vote, Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Franks is still recused on this item. Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Chairman Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Alderman Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson?
Aye.
That motion carries. Item number 10.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yes.
This is Scott Harrison. I'm going to be recusing myself from items 10 and 11.
Thank you, Scott. Great, thank you. Okay, item 10, consideration of ordinance 2021-04, an ordinance to rezone 13.81 acres from estate residential ER district to planned PD 3.12 district for the property located west of Hillhaven Lane and north of Arsenal Drive, located at 171 Hillhaven Lane, known as the Hillhaven PUD subdivision. We have a staff presentation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from estate residential to planned district with density of 3.12. To accommodate the Hillhaven PUD subdivision, Envision Franklin places this parcel in the conservation subdivision design concept, which recommends that 50% of the property be preserved and remain as open space. The proposed rezoning to Plan District with the corresponding development plan is consistent with the recommendations of Envision Franklin and can be supported. The development plan is also under review on tonight's agenda. Staff recommends approval to the board, Mayor and Alderman. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. It's time to open the meeting up for public comment. Does anyone from the public wish to speak to this item?
If you would like to speak, please unmute yourself or hit *6. No public comment?
No public comment. Thank you, Kelly. We will entertain at this point a presentation by the applicant.
Thank you, Chairman and Planning Commissioners. My name is Greg Gamble, and in light of the time, I'd like to go ahead and go through the entire presentation as it relates to both the zoning ordinance, or the zoning, zoning and the development plan. But would that be all right?
Yeah, please proceed.
I'll go quickly. Thank you. This is a proposal brought to you tonight by the Community Housing Partnership. They are looking at a property that's located just at the end of Hillhaven Lane. It is just to the west of Mac Hatcher Parkway. The property is currently zoned estate residential, and we are requesting a rezoning to planned district. The property is in Envision Franklin is identified as conservation subdivision, which allows for a mixture of single family, duplexes, and big houses. It does require open space minimum of 50%. Our master plan includes the proposed development for the 13.81 acres. However, the development area is just below 6 acres. We have approximately 68.7% of the site being set aside as open space. There's a dark line that kind of runs right through the site here that is hillside overlay. And within that hillside overlay is the location of the previous home that was located here. That home has since been torn down, and there are some stairs and debris and things like that that need to be removed. And so we have kind of a remediation plan for this area where the house used to be, and kind of restore that HHO protected area back to a natural state. There's also a stream that runs through the site here on the western side. That stream has 60-foot buffers on both sides from the top of bank. We have a 150-foot scenic corridor buffer along Mac Hatcher Parkway. So there is a small area that remains for development. I will go ahead and mention that in staff comments, there is a condition of approval to remove this lot here, which is lot number 11. And we are fine with removing lot number 11 in this location. We have 7 single-family detached lots that are located here that back up to existing homes on Arsenal Drive. We have the same lot widths as those homes on Arsenal Drive. The depths we have reduced by about 20 to 25 feet alongside this property boundary in order to, 1, put it in open space and protect it, protect the existing trees that are along that property boundary, but 2, also create an area of stormwater conveyance. Right now, the water runs directly off this hill into the neighbors' backyards, and we have a design that will control that stormwater and send it over here to a detention basin so that it is better managed than just going through the neighbors' backyards. We have a total of 8 big houses. These are 4-unit condominium buildings, all for sale, that have 2 homes on top, 2 on the bottom. And then we have 3 single-family detached lots that are shown here, fronting onto the loop road. To talk about this in a little bit more detail, You can see here on the back of the single family detached lots, we are proposing to add a berm. That berm creates a swale in this location here that will allow that stormwater to have more control before it gets to the stormwater detention pond. Again, helping to reduce the amount of water that's coming onto our neighbors' backyards. Big houses. Each of the big houses are designed with 2 homes on the top, 2 on the bottom. Entering in from the street, they will have a kind of a center vestibule that will allow access to the 2 homes on the bottom from the back. Then you'll go up a flight of stairs to the 2 homes that are on the top. We looked carefully at the existing homes that are on Arsenal today. And here's an example here of one of the homes we back up to that's a total of 41 feet, 41.8, 42 feet in length. All of the big houses that we've designed or that are designed are 40 foot wide. So we believe that they really are compatible with a lot of the existing homes that are within the neighborhood. It was asked of us at the Joint Conceptual Workshop, how do you compare this to the Iron Horse big houses? And I wanted to show this side by side. Iron Horse big houses are 80 feet in width. They're about 2.5 stories tall. The Hillhaven big houses are 40 foot in width, and you can see much more of a residential scale. They really fit more within the existing context of the community. The homes inside will range to about 1,000 to 1,200 square feet. They're all 2-bedroom homes and really meant to cater to community housing partnerships buyers. We were also challenged to come up with some variety of elevations, architecture. Architect is still kind of working on these, in my opinion, still evolving, and hope to have this more refined with the site plan. But you can see how with this architecture, you can produce a lot of variety, a lot of architectural interest as well. The single family homes, these photographs are very representative of the style of architecture. We are not proposing garages for these homes. There is ample size on the size lot that we are proposing to add a garage if someone decides that they want to pay the extra amount for a garage. But this is proposed by the Community Housing Partnership to be sold to residents in the city of Franklin who earn 80% or less of the median income. And so adding that additional expense of a garage is sometimes a barrier to entry for these homeowners. We presented this master plan to the Housing Commission and received several very good questions that I want to address tonight as it relates to this master plan. We also had several good questions that came from our neighborhood meeting, and I'd like to address those as well. One question that we had is, how does this community, how does this neighborhood relate to Roper's Knob? And so here's Roper's Knob. We're showing it kind of a bird's eye angle. This house is existing today, and you can see that as you're driving down Mac Hatcher. And this is real SketchUp elevations that show where we sit in relationship to the height of Roper's Knob and the existing house. So much lower, still down at the base of Roper's Knob, not in conflict with the view lines that would be that are available as you drive down Mac Hatcher. We were also asked what's the impact of the traffic in our neighborhood? What's the impact of the traffic by the adding? We had 43, we're now reducing that to 42 with the loss of lot 11. But by adding 43 homes, what's the impact of traffic in this community? So Arsenal Drive is located here along the top, and then Cadet comes directly out to Liberty Pike. There's another access point here at Hillhaven. So there's really only 2 ways in and out for this neighborhood. For the Cadet neighborhood, there's a total of 193 existing homes, and we've highlighted those here in yellow. We're adding a total of 43. So that's a 22% increase in the number of homes in Cadet. So I asked our traffic engineer to give me a little evaluation on that. What does that mean? Well, at this intersection here of Liberty Pike and Cadet, there's a total daily trips of 1,903. We're adding to that intersection a total of 167 trips. So that's an 8% increase in the total daily trips at Liberty and Cadet. The peak hour happens to be in the morning at this intersection. And for that morning peak hour, there is currently 627 trips that are coming and going out of that intersection. We're adding a total of 31 additional trips during the peak hour for a 4.3% increase. So that's one car added every approximately 2 minutes. There was a great concern by the Housing Commission about having sufficient parking in our master plan. And one of the reasons why they were concerned about parking is that we were contemplating the dedication of all of the land that is in this HHO area to the city of Franklin. The city of Franklin currently owns this property directly adjacent to it. The state owns Roper's Knob. And so we were contemplating the dedication of this land here as a part of the parkland dedication. Well, it turned out to be a little bit more complicated than we had originally thought. We have now taken that parkland dedication proposal off the table and are paying fee in lieu of for the parkland dedication fee. As a result, we are not providing a walking trailhead, and all of the parking that you're seeing here will be available for the residents and guests. We are providing parking per code, 1.5 spaces for every 1 bedroom and 2.5 spaces for every 2 bedroom. We also have 35 on-street parking spaces that are identified for guests and residents. So we believe that we have well accommodated any additional parking and parking demand that might be required of this property. With that, I will turn it back over to Chairman Lindsay. And I'll stop sharing, but I'm happy to go back to share any screen that you'd like me to show.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Campbell. So the proper motion would be a recommendation for approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Do we have a motion on this item?
Alma moves for approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Jenny will second that.
And that's with staff conditions?
With staff conditions.
The staff conditions don't apply for the ordinance.
Oh, this is it would be the next part of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So it'd just be approval to Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Recommendation for approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Question.
Yes, Commissioner Allen.
Greg, who's this owner? Cumberland Western Resources LLC. Never heard of them. Who's that?
That is an LLC entity. The owners are local. They also own the factory here in Franklin.
I was just surprised to see somebody out of Florida owning this with CHP because I thought it was Community Housing Partnership.
Well, the owner of the land, the current owner of the land is the LLC. They live here locally. The LLC is based in Florida. Community Housing Partnership has a purchase agreement to buy this property from them.
I had a question as well. Going back to the site plan, I know you were addressing the water concerns coming off and it was going into a retention basin. The one kind of comment I had on that is I noticed that retention basin is going to be within the scenic corridor buffer. And I know that those kind of, from civil engineering point, they're just, usually just kind of a grassy kind of swale depression. And my question would be, is there any intents to do any landscaping or, I know that a lot of species of plants don't live in wetter areas, but maybe like rain garden, just because that still is in the buffer.
we have over the past few years had quite an education on bioretention areas and planting for the stormwater areas. It has become an integral part of stormwater, not only quality, but also detention. The deeper rooted plants allow that water to sink into the ground more. I'm excited as a landscape architect about that because now I can talk to civil engineers. Until now, we haven't been able to. But no, we have not spent a lot of time talking about the landscape for this area for the development plan. It will be incorporated into the site plan moving forward. If there are certain things you're looking for that you want us to take into consideration, I'll certainly write those down.
And then the other question, I understand that there is a little bit more, issues with doing a trail area back there. Was that due to kind of the limited parking area that you had?
There were additional expenses that were going to be required above and beyond just the dedication of land that would have affected or will affect the sales price of the homes that we're proposing. And so any additional costs for these homes will reduce the number of buyers that would be able to purchase. And we want to keep these at a very affordable level. And so not only were we going to be required to dedicate land, but also put in quite a bit of additional parkland improvements.
Okay. And then, kind of on this plan, it looks like it might be more open there. And, if there's not going to be, kind of like a formal thing there, I could see a lot of people that might want to take advantage of maybe their kids going out in a field. Is that going to be maintained or is that going to be more naturalistic? Just out of curiosity.
This will be naturalistic. We'll probably end up replanting a lot of trees in this area to reestablish that HHO area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Williamson. Are there any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, we'll proceed with roll call vote on a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Franks? I think we've lost Commissioner Franks. Commissioner Harrison is recused on this item. Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Alderman Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 11 is consideration of resolution 2021-51, a resolution approving a development plan for Hillhaven PUD subdivision for the property located west of Hillhaven Lane and north of Arsenal Drive, located at 171 Hillhaven Lane. Can we have a staff presentation, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Hillhaven PUD subdivision as proposed consists of a total of 43 dwelling units with 11 single-family lots and 8 multiplex buildings with 4 attached dwelling units in each building. Envision Franklin places the subject property in the conservation subdivision design concept. The parcel lies adjacent to Roper's Knob at the end of Hillhaven Lane. The applicant has responded to the recommendations of Envision Franklin by offering a mixture of housing options while preserving the hillside views the community is accustomed to from this side of the natural feature. The architectural conceptions provide a variety of styling that are compatible with the surrounding established neighborhoods. As a condition of approval, lot 11 must be removed from the Hillhaven PUD subdivision development plan due to the area having a natural slope of 14% or greater and not enough acreage to do the minimum 2 acres and buildable area left over for a single family house. Just as a project consideration, there are 3 lots that are average size about 2,500 square feet. The size of lots and the proposed setbacks can accommodate a house, but not necessarily on-site parking or a private yard. Normally, staff would not support a lot this small. However, due to the mission of the organization developing the site, the limited number of sub-sized lots being proposed, and the combination of parking and open space near the lot, staff can support these lots in this very specific case. So staff recommends approval with conditions to the board, mayor, and alderman. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Bryan. It's time now for public comment on this item. Does anyone from the public wish to address this project?
I did fail to mention that we'd received one letter expressing concern of traffic and stormwater. Just wanted to clear that up as well.
Great, thank you.
Could I say, excuse me, could I say that on the comments, whenever I'd open it up, it just says, open this PDF in Adobe. You know, and so in other words, it wouldn't.
That was on the attached documents that contain the comments.
Alderman Peterson, we'll make sure we get you a copy of that prior to the work session. If anyone would like to speak, please unmute yourself or hit *6. No public comment.
No public comment. Thank you, Ms. Dannenfelser. Okay, so we've had somewhat of a presentation. Greg, do you have anything else to add to your presentation on this
Yes,
project?
just briefly, I just want to say that the development plan is a part of the mission of Community Housing Partnership. And as a commitment to their mission to provide housing at an attainable and affordable level, each one of these homes, each of these lots will be deed restricted permanently. It requires that the homes be sold to an owner. The homes may not be rented or Airbnb, and the homes will initially be sold to individuals and families with incomes at less than 80% of the median income. But happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. So the proper motion would be.
I was going to say, Greg, we talked about this at the joint conceptual meeting. The elevations, you know, even though this is supposed to be a more attainable development and more affordable, but we don't have to lose the fact that it needs to look nice. You know, this is like the first one in a long time and in a while, and it still needs to be something that has some, you know, nice elevations. So that's something to consider as you prepare to bring the next, you know, I think it needs to be brought to the planning commission when at the site plan level, not as a consent agenda, because it's something that really needs to be looked at.
Okay, I don't disagree that we need some architectural improvement on the big houses, a little bit more refinement there. And I don't think that my client would be opposed to having planning commission review at a site plan level. So.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So a proper motion would be a recommendation of approval with conditions to the Board of Mayor and Alderman. Do I have a motion on this item?
Alma moves for approval.
I'll second that, Ms. Marcia.
Okay, we have a motion and a proper motion and second. Is there any discussion?
Alma, did I hear you say that was approval with conditions? Did I hear you say that?
I said Alma moves for approval, so Alma needs to Alma need to restate her motion.
Maybe.
Approval with conditions to the Board of Mayor and Alderman.
Okay, approval with conditions to the Board of Mayor and Alderman.
Yes, thank you.
And I second, that's Marcia Allen.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Is there any discussion on this item?
You know what the price point will be for the products available here?
I don't know the price points. There are opportunities that Community Housing Partnership is looking at for grants to help first-time home buyers, grants to help with the principal payment to apply for a mortgage. One of the things that Community Housing Partnership has talked about is having the sale of these in such a way where they don't affect the appraised value of other homes of similar size, so that they don't become comps. The way in which they want to achieve that affordable level is through grants and partnerships with other not-for-profits. And so I don't have those purchase prices right now, but we do know that they need to appraise at market rate.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll go to roll call vote for the motion for recommendation of approval with conditions to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Franks is absent. Commissioner Harrison is recused on this item. Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson.
Aye.
That motion carries. That is the last of the business before us tonight. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Michael Orr.
Second, Scott.
Is there any discussion? Okay, by roll call vote. Commissioner
Aye.
Allen? Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Chair Lindsay votes aye. Commissioner McLemore?
Aye.
Commissioner Mann?
Aye.
Commissioner Orr?
Aye.
Alderman Peterson?
Aye.
And Commissioner Williamson?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Thank you all.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you all.